pay attention. And if you have any questions, just drop in the chat and I will attend to them after the class. So let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody who can see my screen? All right, cool. So before I start, has anybody here used HTML before? Anybody? Just, yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, awesome. So I believe like almost everybody here have enjoyed the knowledge from HTML. So what I'm going to do is just uh, surface touching because it's just introduction to HTML. So now after that, we'll discuss what a technical writer could do using HTML, right? At the end of the whole presentation. So my name is Kenneth Aladi, right? And I'll be talking about HTML. So what does HTML stand for? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the standard markup language used to create web pages. HTML code is written in the form of tags. Like whenever you hear the word tags, we're talking about HTML. And those tags are surrounded with content, right? So the content are like what those tags are surrounding. But the thing is, with the tags, we are able to like tell HTML what we want this content to be, or what we want it to look like, or what we want it to do. So we say this structure determines how content will be presented to users. HTML is one of the foundational technologies that make up the World Wide Web. It was developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1990. So HTML is probably older than most of uh, the people here, right? So it has been existing since the year 1990 as a way to describe documents and their links to other documents. So initially, HTML was created as links. When you want to point someone from one document to another, you use HTML and you wrap it around that link, and the person can be able to like have all the other documents they need to visit on just one particular page wrapped around HTML links, right? So before HTML came out, if I want to send a link to you, I have to like probably send it to you as a normal link. And if I have a list of links to send to you, I have to send it to you in a very large quantity of number. But if you create the HTML, having all the links attached as on a page, you can be able to go from one document to another document. That's initially what HTML was created for, right? So over time, um, it was just created to describe links. So since then, it has evolved into a powerful language that enables developers to create rich, interactive web pages. HTML is not a programming language. I hear this has been like an argument. Someone says he's a programmer. What languages can you program? Say, I can program HTML. So you cannot program HTML. HTML is not a programmable language. Do we get that? So there's nothing like a HTML programmer. Okay, so HTML is not a it's not a programming language, but a markup language, right? That means that the HTML is used to describe the structure and the content of a web page, but it does not contain programming logic or algorithm. However, HTML can be combined with other technologies like CSS and JavaScript to create rich, interactive web applications. So we have gone through what HTML is. We've heard that HTML has to do with tags. We've also heard that HTML has to do with um, stuff like links. It's a way to be able to share links to people, and they can be able to like have access to links. And we also know that it was created by Tim Berners-Lee in the year 1990. That's like general introduction of HTML. And HTML means hypertext markup language. So HTML is not a programming language, it's a markup language. Now let's talk about HTML itself. Let's go deep into it. So HTML documents are structured using tags, which define elements that mark up a web page. HTML tags are surrounded by angle brackets and are composed of an opening tag and a closing tag. The opening tag describes the element, and the closing tag contains a forward slash to indicate the end of the element. So here is an example of an HTML element. So we have a p tag, and we have a opening angle bracket, and then we have a p closing angle bracket. We have the content, this is the paragraph, and then we have also an opening angle bracket, a slash, to indicate that this P is different from this P. This P is the one that opens the tag, and this P is the one that closes the tag. And then we close it up. So the P tag is the opening tag, and the slash P tag is the closing tag. The content between the tags is the text that will be displayed on the web page. And right here at the right hand corner, I attached an image that gives an explanation of what all this is. This is left angle bracket, right angle bracket, then the tag name itself, and this is just a forward slash to indicate the end. Okay, like I said, this is going to be very quick and very easy because, like, I believe everybody or most people have heard about HTML. Okay, before we continue. Is there anybody here that have never used HTML before? Just do it by doing it thumbs up or writing in the chat. Okay. Okay. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Yes. Okay. All right. Awesome. So I'm going to really focus on you, those of you that never used HTML before now, right? So you just have to get something out of this class. Very, very important before we go into where HTML can be used as a technical writer. So because of those people that are hearing HTML for the first time, do you have any question, or is there something you are confused about? Yes, something I should reiterate. Okay. So moving forward, there are many different HTML tags that can be used to describe the structure of your web page. Some common tags include the HTML itself, that's the one that takes care of every other tags inside. Then we have the head. It contains metadata about the document, such as the title, any external scripts or styles. Then the head, the title defines the title of the document, which is displayed in the browser's title bar. The body contains the content of the document, such as text, images, and other media. Then we have different heading tags. We have H1 to H5, defines heading of different sizes. We have P tag, which is defined as a paragraph of text. We have the image tag, displays an image on the web. We have the anchor tag, A. Anchor tag is actually a very important aspect of HTML. It's something that comes out in any questions you could hear of, because anchor tag was actually the pioneer tag of HTML. Remember, I told you that HTML was initially created just for a way to link you to other documents, right? And that is being done using the anchor tag. So anchor tag creates a hyperlink to another web page or a specific location on the same page. That's what anchor tag does. Now, to break it down for those people that are hearing HTML for the first time, Is why is it difficult to use the JavaScript connecting with the HTML? I find it difficult. I couldn't use the JavaScript. Kindly help us. Okay, we'll come to that, Amuchi. So, but going forward, I really want to explain um, what the structure of HTML looks like. If you look at the image by the right, you will see that I have a doc type that is specified HTML. And this is just the same thing with a tag, an opening angle bracket and a closing angle bracket. But what this does for us, this doc type does for us is it just tells us like this is the type of HTML we're expecting, right? Or the type of document we're expecting. That's the meaning of doc type. So, but if you see there is an exclamation before you see doc type, that is how it's written. Doc type, then HTML. This means whatever it is you're going to see going forward is going to be a HTML5 elements. That's what you're going to see. That's definition of the type of document. That's what is happening here. If you've written a Java programming language before, you will see hash include, or a C# programming language before. You see hash include, and then that's just specifying that this is going to be a C code, right? So now after that, the next tag that follows it is a HTML tag. Now remember in my explanation here, I told you that HTML defines the beginning and the end of an HTML document. So it means that there's going to be a HTML tag, and at the end of it, there's also going to be another HTML tag closing the tags, right? And then we have the head tag. The head tag has an opening and a closing head tag, and inside head tag, whatever it is that appears there is not going to appear on our document. It's only going to um, appear on the tabs of whatever document you are creating. Like for instance, if you look on the top of the screen I'm sharing, you see something like introduction to HTML, right? So this is what things you put inside header could do for you, right? So you have something like title, you have introduction to HTML. So once you load the page, you see introduction to HTML on the tab itself, showcasing that this is introduction to HTML, right? And then we have other things that will be in the head. So remember, I said whatever it is that is in the head will never be displayed on the document. Those things are more or less like configuration. So in the head, you have like metadata where you can set the kind of data you want to write in your HTML code, right? And the default is like character sets UTF-8. So that's the default for metadata for characters, right? And there are different metadata you can specify. You can specify for that of the contents, how you want the content to be placed and all that, right? So the key takeaway also in your head tag is where you can place stuff like HTML, where you can place stuff like JavaScript and your CSS, right? So just like the person that asked question, she said she has been trying to connect her JavaScript to her HTML, but it's not been working. What I'm going to do is at the end of this, um, I'm going to probably do a small exercise where you see us connect it your HTML to your CSS and your JavaScript, right? And everything will be working out fine. So Amuche, don't worry about that. We'll definitely come to that. Okay. Now, sorry, I think I did not finish my explanation here. So after the head, we have the body. The body contains whatever it is you're going to see on the web page, right? So like in this image I attached here, you see hello world, right? So once you render this, you're going to see hello world on the document on the page. So the body is the parent element that contains everything that you're going to see on the page. I'm not really going to dive into the concept of parent element, child element, or grandchild element, because that's like going deep into it. But just know that whatever it is that is inside an opening tag and a closing tag, another tag that is inside it is considered as a child tag. Just like title is considered as a child, so head. And P tag, paragraph tag, is considered as a child to body. And body and head are siblings because both of them are just like independently on their own under HTML5. But I won't go deep into that. So any other thing you see in the body are things that are going to display on the web page, right? Like the P tag, like the H1 to H6 tag. When I talk about H1 to H6, that's header 1 to header 6. And just as the numbers specify, header 1 is like the most bold, header 6 is like the least bold. So these are ways you can define your headers in HTML. Then we'll have the image tag, we have the anchor tag. We are going to do a little practice on that. Okay, so the next slide. HTML tags, login or to post online. Okay. HTML tags can also have attributes which provides additional information about the element. Attributes are included in the opening tag and have a name and a value, separated by an equal sign. Now, this is very important aspect of HTML. I can tell you that stuff about tags is important, but they are not as important as attributes because attributes are ways you manipulate your HTML. For instance, a p tag with no attributes can never be the same with a p tag that has an attribute of color, for instance, that has an attribute of style. So when you have an attribute of style and then you add a color to it, you have changed that p tag from what it should have been normally to something different, maybe something that will have a particular color or something that will have a particular class name or something that will have a particular ID. And you can use that to be able to like um, interact with your HTML, probably change the color of your HTML in your CSS or make it bold in your CSS or use JavaScript to make it disappear and reappear after 2 minutes, whatever it is you want to do with your HTML. The power of attributes are what gives you that leverage to be able to do this, right? So HTML tags can also have attributes which provide additional information about the element. Attributes are included in the opening tag and have a name and a value, separated by an equals sign. Here is an example of an HTML tag with an attribute, right? So I have an image source that is equal to example.jpg. So what is the attribute here? The attribute is the alternate attributes that has equal to an example image. So what this is going to tell us is if we browse this image, right, or if the image is not loading, we're going to see an example image. If the image is loading and the person that is trying to access the image is someone that cannot see, right, and is using a screen reader, the screen reader is going to read out the alternative. This is just like an alternative. So instead of seeing the image, they can be able to hear what the image is all about. So this alt attribute is a way to describe the image you attach, right? So the source attributes, um, okay, we also have the source attributes here in the image, and the source attribute is what is specified in example.jpg, which is the image. So the source attribute specifies the URL of the image file, and the alt attribute provides a description of the image for users who are unable to see it. HTML is a powerful and versatile language that is essential for creating web pages and web applications. By mastering the basics of HTML, you can create clean, well-structured web pages that are easy to read and navigate. However, HTML is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to web development. To create rich, interactive web applications, you also need to learn other technologies like CSS and JavaScript. Right? So remember, I think we'll be having CSS, introduction to CSS in the next class or something like that. So, like I said, to create rich, interactive web applications, you will also need to learn other technologies like CSS and JavaScript. So these three are more or less like the powerhouse of the web page you see, like HTML, CSS, CSS and JavaScript. are the powerhouse of whatever web page you see on the internet. So I did a brief explanation of what CSS is. So CSS, or cascading style sheets, is used to describe the presentation of a web page, including its layout, colors, and fonts, right? CSS allows developers to separate the structure of the web page, which you need in HTML, from its presentation. So in CSS, it's like coloring, making it easier to manage and update your web page application. So let me give you an illustration, right? HTML is like a house, right? So when you build a house, that's the structure. After building the house, wow, this person has the house, but some other person can build the exact structure of the same house, but people prefer this other person's house more than your house, right? So what could make people prefer a house that's the same structurally the same structure, the same building, but people prefer one over the other? What could make that? Example is paints, right? Maybe one painted the house very, very pretty nice with nice colors and shades and all that. And people passing the house will be like, oh wow, this house looks very beautiful, right? That's CSS, right? That's CSS at work. So if both of us built the same house with the same structure, with the same plan, and then you did not paint yours and I painted mine, added some, maybe the windows has this color of white, then the walls has this color of um, purple or whatever color that you like, right? And then you do like the veranda to have a different nice shade of color, and then this other person just finished it and it's just like that. People would prefer the other house to this other one. Now imagine a situation where the both of you actually built the structure, which is HTML, painted the houses, which is CSS, different paint actually, or even let's say the same paint, right? Now it's difficult for someone to choose, right? Oh, okay, I see these two houses are alike. But now when you get into the house, you start seeing some stops. Maybe one of the house has like a lift that takes you up to wherever you want to go, right? And the other one has a staircase, which is like more stressful. Or maybe the other one in the staircase, there is lightning. As soon as you are walking through the staircase, each of those staircase lights up and goes off as soon as your leg leaves the staircase. And there are other things like before you enter any of the houses, you see like a doorbell. Why the other house does not have like a doorbell, right? So this is like JavaScript. So JavaScript is like what adds functionality to your code, right? So, like I said, the JavaScript is a programming language that is used to add interactivity and dynamic behavior to web pages. JavaScript allows developers to create animations, validate user input, and respond to user actions like clicks and key presses. So, what could make someone to say, "Whoa, this guy's house is something else," is probably the what functionalities they saw. Imagine entering a place, before you enter, the door gets open for you, and then as soon as you get to the door, you enter a lift, it takes you to whatever floor you're going to. You come to the floor, you press the bell, the camera is there, it asks you who is that, and state your purpose. You talk, you say your name, and you say why you are there, and then it gives you a reply, access granted, and then the door opens. This is like you are going to be wow. You're going to be like, whoa, this is still the same building that the other person has, but the difference is that all these things makes your life easier more than the other one. So that's what JavaScript brings in. Is there anybody that does not understand this concept? Is it clear? If the concept is clear, I want a thumbs up. So tell me that the concept is clear. Yeah. So anytime you hear HTML, just know that that's the structure of the web. You hear CSS, just know that that's the beauty of the web page. And then you hear JavaScript, you know that that's the interactivity, the dynamics of the web page, right? Awesome. Um, Finally, in summary, HTML is the foundation of the web. and is essential for creating web pages and the web generally. So, in conclusion, HTML is like whenever you hear a website, whenever you hear a web page, that's HTML. Then when you come to the web page and you see some stuff in the web page, that's like CSS, JavaScript, React, just JavaScript doing its functionalities, right? So it's like the foundation of the web. You cannot paint the ground. You cannot decide to start painting your ground without building, right? So you have to build first before you apply the paint. You can't go and buy paints without buying um blocks. Like you don't have a house, and the first thing you have to do is to go and buy paints, or you start buying a lift. So it means that as much as blocks are like the foundation of every building, HTML is like the foundation of everywhere. So that is all. And thank you, everybody, for participating. Yeah, I can see hands are up. Yeah, so this is the nice time to ask questions. Let me take Neka Obu's question first. Go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. It's really awesome. So I have three questions.
Okay, go
First of
ahead.
all, if I want to add image in Markdown, right, I would use
Yeah,
the exclamation, square bracket, and parentheses, right?
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the problem is that I don't know how to reduce the image size using this method. So I tried normal HTML tag, and
Okay,
everything was fine, oh, even when I uploaded it to GitHub,
okay,
until I tried uploading my article on Medium, and everything just
okay.
went bonkers. So my question is, how do I resize the image in a way that it will be responsive on Medium? That's
Okay,
one.
okay,
Then also, how do I link the Markdown heading, the heading tag, to get an interactive table of content? Because I can generate table of content if I use the heading tags very well, but they
okay,
are not clickable. I should be able to click it and it will take me to the topic, right? So I don't
okay.
know how to do that. And then the last question is, can I add a video in my Markdown document using HTML? Because the only way I know how to do that is to turn the video into a GIF. If not, it will not load. Those are my
Okay.
questions.
All right. The first question is, you created Markdown file, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you discover that your images are not responsive in GitHub, right? And you turned it to
No, no,
HTML and
no.
it works well.
Is no, it's responsive on GitHub. I just wanted to reduce the size of the images, so I could not reduce it in the, or rather, I don't know how to reduce it in the normal Markdown tag. So I
Okay,
used HTML to embed the image. So I
okay,
could now reduce it, the size
okay.
to what I
Yeah,
wanted. It
yeah.
was responsive even to GitHub up until I wanted to send it to publish it on Medium. It
Okay. And
just
then
went
it
haywire.
became something else on Medium. So one thing
Yes,
you have to
yes.
understand is this is platform based, right? Medium is like a different platform from GitHub, and there are certain things they accept and what they don't accept. So I think Medium has a way. It's been a very long time I actually published anything on Medium. So I think Medium has a way of importing images and then attaching those images to your article in Medium. But if they don't, then and they allow you to publish HTML files, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
that means that you can actually control your HTML file, because let's do something. Let's us get Medium. Let's see. Mm, trying to knock me down. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my medium screen?
Yes.
So let's me assume that this is like HTML, right? So let's I'm also assuming that you were able to like publish your article on Medium like a HTML, right? Now, if you inspect this particular image, you will see that Medium sees this as an image, right? And then it has a width of 1920 and a height of 127.8, right? So it means that if I reduce the width to like something like this, the image is going to get smaller. Let's reduce this. And like I said, these things are platform specific. So I'm reducing the image to like see, I'm reducing the width of the image and the image is not changing. So back to what I'm saying, like it's platform specific. I can also see that a source is attached and all these things are the image. So we have a picture source and it has like different widths of the based on the size of the window at that moment, right? So I think the problem you could have is because you're using just a normal image on the web page. So I think if you want to solve it, you use the picture tag, probably like a figure, then there's a tag called a figure tag. Then you use a picture tag. Then in picture tag, that's where you can upload different sizes, have like source with different sizes, so that Medium can be able to understand which size you want to load at a smaller screen and which you want to load at a bigger screen. Because if the whole thing is working on GitHub, then that's a sign that it's working. If it's not working on Medium, then that means that there's a way Medium wants you to do it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So that's one. The next question you asked is it possible to attach YouTube video, to attach video on GitHub using Markdown? The answer is yes, but I think they have a file type that is supported because I know very well one of the companies I work with, one of the criteria of solving any bugs, once you solve a bug, you do a record of what it was like before you solve the bug, do a record of what it is now, and also record the place you did a code change. Then you attach all of them on your Markdown before you do your pull requests, right? So it's possible, but they have a particular video type. If you search that on the internet, you're going to get a response on the type of video you can upload on GitHub, right? Because
Okay.
even in your HTML tag, before you upload the video, you have different sources. You have MP4, you have MPEG, just like that. You have different sources, and the reason why you have these different sources is to enable whichever source that the page supports to load the video. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what was your last question? I think you asked the question.
Yes, I the last one is how do I link the markdown heading tag, all those heading tags, right?
Yeah.
If I want to generate an interactive table of contents,
Okay.
how do I link the tags so that
in
if
in a
I
situation
click,
where you click on That's like, let's say
On
chapter one, you click on chapter one, it moves to
it will
chapter
take
one.
me to chapter one. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. We're going to do that as part of our coding challenge, but we'll do that on HTML. Maybe I don't know if you guys have had a class on Markdown. Like I actually had a class on Markdown on its own on my YouTube channel. So that's like a different topic altogether. Markdown is a lookalike of HTML, but not HTML, right? But the good thing is that in GitHub README, you can be able to use HTML, you can be able to use Markdown, right? So if you guys have not had a Markdown class yet, I believe you guys are going to have a Markdown class very soon. But I'm going to show you how to do that in HTML. Okay. I think there were 3 people that raised their hand. Who else? Okay, can you ask a question?
Hello, good evening. Thank you for the
Yeah, good
class.
evening. Yeah.
So my question is about the tags. You mentioned
Okay.
about the head and body tags. I think I
Yeah.
understood the body tags because maybe there were several other subtags like the P, the H1 to H6 tags under it. But for
Yeah.
the head tag, you mentioned metadata, and it was just the
Yeah.
title that was there. And when I was trying to create a draft on Hashnode, under the draft settings, there's this option for metadata for title and I think like a paragraph
Yeah.
that you can put in. And during the SEO class, we were told that like that metadata is something that will
Very
pop up
important.
when,
Yeah.
yeah, like doing a Google search. If your article pops up, that's what the person is going to like the person searching will see to read. So my
Okay.
question is, apart from the title, what other things, what other data can be put under the head tag? And are there any special tags for them, or we'll just write them as plain text as long as they're under the head tag, it would count as metadata?
Okay. This I'll answer this when we do our little illustration now. So you will
Okay.
see it like in action. Any more
Okay.
question? I see any coding section. Yes, we're going to do a coding section. Any more question? Okay, I believe maybe the first person's question answered the next person's question. Okay, let's do a coding challenge. Silvanus is raising his hand. Okay, go ahead. What's your question? Silvanus.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay. My question is like, so please, you should recommend some VS Code extension that you enhance our code writing, like write more code in less time.
I'll make you write more code in less time. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to. It's not like going to make you write more code in less time, but it's going to make you um take care of things that are like the same, something like that, right? So I think I get what you're trying to say. So we're going to do that now. It's not like, yeah, there are things like that these days now, right? Well, what I'm going to introduce you to is something that will make you um take care of the important stuff. Like for instance, when you open a tag with a p tag, automatically it will create a closing tag for you without waiting for you to put the closing tag, and can also help you with formatting and all that stuff. So yeah, things like that. Any other question before I start the coding challenge? None. Okay, so let's do this. Let me know if you guys can see my VS Code. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to this is freshly baked VS Code. When I say freshly baked, I mean like the first thing you see when you open the VS Code. So let's click on here and then we open a file and a folder, and we can be able to like see what's up to do with it. Documents. Mm, projects, and we create a new folder, call it technical writing class, and we open it. Okay, so like I said, this is freshly baked, oven ready VS Code. Is there anybody here that doesn't have VS Code in their system? I think that wouldn't be a question now. Every technical writer should have a VS Code. Anybody? Just do a thumbs up. Don't be shy. Chisom, okay. Any other person? Okay, so Chisom, you have to try and download VS Code. This is because even as a technical writer, it also helps you with your documentation and all that. Technical writing documentations mostly are done on VS Code, especially if you're doing open source contributions. So it's very important you get one, buy one and get another one free. So get VS Code and get another one free. Okay, so let's create a file. Type select the file, type in the file. So let's call this index.html. Now, I'll be answering each and every one of your questions one after the other. So let's start with that of Silvano. Silvanos, you asked, is this just something you can use to make your life easier when you're coding? Yes. Like for instance, when I do something like this and I press enter, my life is easy, everything is created for me. I can just start coding, right? So what helps me to do this thing? What is the secret behind this my life that is easy now? Is actually extension, right? And the extension is called Mnet. Mnet. Can't remember what. Actually,
It's MS
Mnet.
intelligence.
Yeah, but I think that's not what I installed. That is doing the work for me. So funny thing is that there are different extensions that does different things in your life. It just depends on what you want. And if you see here, you see I have about 237 extensions that are doing different things on my VS Code. So I think this was like one of the first initial things I installed in my VS Code when I started coding. So I don't even know which of the extensions that does this. Then there is this XML tools. It helps with XML formatting. This one is tracking. This helps track how many hours you spend on the VS Code every day. That's worker time. Um, okay, I think when you press that, when I do like this, yeah, it's got emit abbreviation. So why am I not getting? Yeah, it's called emit abbreviation. So I should have. Okay, in case you did not, I did not say it, right? You can, let's do something. Let me ask Google. VS Code extension, uh, HTML autocomplete has a problem. Uh, you open Google now, the next thing they tell you is artificial intelligence. The word not funny now. Okay, so MX can do the work for you, right? I think you can always use MX, and if I go through all my extensions and see the actual one that does it for me, I'm going to send it to your master, and he's going to send it to you. Or then I also have live before that one becomes an issue. I also have live share. Live share or live server helps me to like launch the application on its own. Like once I click on live share now, it goes live. I can be able to open it on the web. So if I click on this live share, oh no, okay, live share is like collaborating with someone. Sorry. Why live server is the one that helps you to launch your application live, right? So how it's being done is once you have open a project, click on go live from the status bar to turn on the live, and then you'll be able to make your life easier and all that. So we come here, go to our HTML. Uh, okay. Then after that, what someone asked a question about meta, right? So you can see from here we have three meta, right? And the three of them are doing different things. So this one is like meta character sets UTF-8. So what this is doing, and all these are like in the header. This can go away. And all these are like in the header. We have meta character set UTF-8. We have meta. This is going to check the compatibility of IE, that's Internet Explorer Edge. So this meta actually makes this application to work on Edge browsers. Then we have meta name viewports. This particular meta is going to make sure that our page, the width of our page is going to scale 1:1 to the window, right? And then we have title. Title is like we have documents here. So if you call it technical writing class, right? As a title. When we launch this, when we go live with this, right? What is going to happen is we will be able to see technical writing class displayed for us at in our web browser, right? So it's been very long time having to write all these things again. So when you you go to Mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay. So you can see here we have technical writing class, right? So that's what the title does for us. So we have technical writing class written. Oh, you guys can see my screen to that point, right? Can you see my screen? Hello, can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
I can.
Okay. I thought I'm being cut off away. Okay, so you can see we have technical writing class here, right? And the person that asked how can I go live with, like, to see what I did on web, you have to install this extension called Live Saver, right? When you install it, and then you follow this process to go live with it. So you just go to press like F1 if you're using Windows, or Control Shift P, and then type Live Server, open with Live Server, and you'll be able to open this live. So whatever changes we're making will be coming here automatically, right? So the next thing you ask is, if you have a JavaScript, how do I connect my JavaScript to my web page, right? So let's say we have a JavaScript we call JavaScript index.js.
Okay.
All right, guys. So while you're waiting for our speaker to come back, so for those of us here that have not worked with HTML before, don't worry about the class. We'll have a continuation of this class because HTML is huge. You know, you can't take 1 hour or 2 hours in a day to learn it. Okay, your mentors probably will have a mentor that would take for those that have not done it before, or if you have done it before in the past, but you think you still feel you're not good enough, you're maybe still shaky in HTML, you know, we'll have one of our mentors to take up the other person. So people will drop the message, and anybody that have not done that will indicate. Then one of the mentors will pick it up and take their time to teach you the basics you need to know after this class. So whatever I learned from this class, they will add up from here to the next part. Then I guess I'll probably look for a course. So you have to complete that so you know a lot about HTML. Same with CSS and same with JavaScript. So your assignment is not written this time around. The assignment is more of dropping a course of HTML, CSS after each classes, which you would complete and share your certificate on that one. Then we'll now go over to the next phase of that. All right, so let's wait for a few minutes for our speaker to come back. Thank you. So I'm back again while you're waiting for him. So this is just an important information I want to drop. This class and the next class and the next one being HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You know, when starting in tech, probably you want to go into the development part of tech. This is more like a first you always go through. Most of us went through that before we did something else. When I was in school, I started with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript before I moved to mobile, and from mobile, my journey changed. Okay, this is more like the starting point. Now, funny enough, I'm back. I'm back being the front end right now. So, reason is most companies right now, you have most companies that build web applications much more than mobile applications. And it's important to take this class very serious because one, when you're documenting a project built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and you don't know it, the question is, can you document that? And the answer is no. You can't document that except you want to pay somebody to do that for you, which would be difficult because I don't see how you will get into the company because you have to do interviews to know if you know this or not. Because I've done so many interviews and where they will ask me, it will be as if it's not a technical right. Sometimes I like this is supposed to be a technical writing job. So why ask me so many technical questions on your tool and programming language you use? Reason is they want to be sure that you know that very well before you can write about it. So technical writing favors, this is just the bitter truth. Technical writing favors software engineers much more than those that are not software engineers. Now, I remember from the first class, I said there is a reason why we have the technical at the back of the writing and not content and not creative and not story and not copy, which is copywriting, content writing. There is a reason why they call it technical writing. So this class, the next class, and the upper one is the reason why they call it technical writing. So for those that are not here, too bad that they missed this, although they will still watch it because they need to have time to ask questions. Okay, so our speaker is here. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Ken.
Can you guys?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry for that. We are discussing something before Nigeria happened. We have index.js, right? And we want to find a way. Okay, first and foremost, let's do something. Um, Let's do something. You see, we have technical writing here, and there is no content here, right? So let's add the content. Now, also, you see, someone asked me, what are the tools that can help you to do stuffs in HTML, in your code editor? And I smiled, and then I started telling you that there are tools that can make you do a lot of things these days, right? There are tools that can even generate like a whole HTML page like this from beginning to end, and even write the CSS on top for you. But we're not focusing on that because the truth is, for you to learn anything, you need to understand the concept of what you're learning before you start learning. So you can see that I'm not typing anything. I'm just pressing enter, and my wonderful VS Code is helping me to do things, right? So that is one of the things. But just know that sometimes these are not things you need actually. Okay, so we have this, right? And then we save. Once we save, we come here, we reload, and then we have. Okay, so there is a reason why this is failing. Why it's failing is because obviously my system went off and the live stuff went off. So we are going to do it, repeat the whole process again and go live. So Command Shift P and then open with live server, and we have it opened. So you can see we have technical writing and then we have HTML, right? So like I said, I'm going to answer everybody's question using this coding section. Now, we want a situation where whatever it is we do in our JS will reflect in our HTML, and we want to be able to tie it, right? And somebody asked the question, how can I be able to tie it? Now, there are two ways to tie your JavaScript. One of it is adding it here in the body tag, at the end of the body tag. Another is adding it on the header tag, right? There are other things you can add on the header tag. You can add like style, like do style, and then I can be able to add whatever CSS, but I'll leave that to the day you guys will do class on CSS. For now, we are talking about how to tie stuff. So why are we doing style on the head and then want to do that of JS on the last part of the body? Because we want a situation where our interactivity starts to happen after our page has loaded. When you put your style, your script in your head, it means that the script will load as the content is loading. That's just the problem, or that's just the thing that happened. So if we put that of the style sheet and you have a very heavy JavaScript that does a lot of things, then that means it's going to take time before your HTML even shows up, right? So the reason why we put it at the end of the body is the whole body is rendered, the whole structure and the CSS is rendered, and then before the functionality start loading. So you know that you cannot click on this button or else this button is showing, right? So that's why we always put it at the end. And for you to put it, you put do script, and then you do source, and yeah. Once I close the source script, and this one closes automatically. So now what I need to do is because this index.js is just a sibling to this index.html, I don't need to put any slash. But imagine if I had this HTML inside a folder I call JS, right? Then inside this folder I have app.js, right? Now, if we're going to do some interactivity, now if I inspect this, go to console, let me do it so that it's the side by side. So we have console, yeah. Now, if I come back to my code and I do console.log script loaded, I save, right? And then I come back here and I load our page. You can see scripts loaded here, right? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. Let me even do something else that we don't need to open our console for. So let me do alerts. So alert it and save. So once this reloads, we're going to see an alert that is going to tell us scripts loaded. Let's save here. You see scripts loaded displaying here, right? So that shows that your this your script is already connected to your HTML, right? So, but imagine if I come here and I do alert loaded. So I have two things. I have scripts loaded from here, and I have app scripts loaded, right? So if I come here, okay, the only thing I see is just scripts loaded. I reload, I see scripts loaded, but I don't see app scripts loaded. Why is that? Because I have not connected this into our HTML, right? So for us to connect this into our HTML, this one into our HTML, it's still the same process. And remember, if I put this script loaded, this second one, if I put this other one first, then that one will run first before this one. If I put it second, it means script loaded will run first before the second one. So that's why it's very important you know where you put your stuff. Now this is going to become a nuisance because for everything I type, it's going to try to reload the whole thing. The source report. So now this is where it becomes tricky. I must have to do JS because I have a folder I call JS, right? Slash app.js. Now with this done, come back here. We have scripts loaded. Then let's reload. And we have scripts loaded, app scripts loaded. Is that clear? The person that asked this question, who was that? I think it's Amuche. Please, if it's clear, let me know that it's clear. So that's how you connect your scripts to your HTML, right? Now, another person asked the question, the person that asked the question for metadata, are we clear now? Are you clear now? You can unmute and answer.
Yes,
Yeah.
please, thank you.
Yeah, metadata can serve as different things. The thing that differentiates this metadata from this other metadata is the attributes. Remember, I told you guys that attributes is like a game changer to every other tag. The difference between this metadata and this metadata is the attribute. This one is the attributes is concerned about the character set. So which means whatever it is we are typing is going to be confirmed with the UTF-8. Then we have attributes that are, this one is just attribute that is going to be talking about compatibility, and the content should be able to load the IE8. This one is talking about the viewport, which is like the screen, and it's telling you that the content should be width equal to device width initial scale 1.0. If you remove this, which means if your screen is small, your website will be big, because it doesn't matter. It's just going to take, what this metadata does is give me this content as much as the like take the width of this device as the actual device width. You understand? If this width is 800, give it to me as 800 and load my contents according to that. The initial scale is 1.0. So if you zoomed your screen to like 200% zoom, this should be able to give you an initial scale of 1.0. So that's what this metadata is doing. So we have the title that is saying technical writing class, which is what is written here. So if we change it to something else, technical writing, remove the class, and we save, come back, we have technical writing here. So that's what title does. Like I said, whatever it is we put in the head is not going to show on our body. It's whatever it is we put in the body that is going to show on the head, right? So that is that. Now, I think the last question. While I'm answering this last question, if you have other questions, please just put in the chat. So once I'm done, we just go to it. The last question, somebody asked if he creates something like a content. Let's disconnect the script, because for everything we type is going to try and load. Now it has disconnected. It's not going to be loading again. Now somebody's asked something, and I'm going to answer that. So let me use something we call Ipsum. So we have Ipsum mainly. And in order to illustrate what I want to do, I need to have like it. I think you guys time are up or something like that. Well, sorry, just bear with me. I am almost done answering this question. Should be able to get what we want. I think I should do another experiment. Why am I generating this content? I'm generating this content because we want to illustrate something. Remember, our question is in a situation where if you click something like this, it takes you to that particular page, right? That's the question, Neka, right? She's still on the call.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that's what we're about to do now. So the way you solve this, I'm trying to generate more content so that you see that when we click it, it comes down. Is using the a tag, right? So, but instead of having href pointing to a particular place, so let me turn this to table of contents kind of a thing. Table of contents. And I have another key tag that's going to have a key tag, the href equal to um, the one. With that, we're going to have the href, key tag is the href, we're going to do the chapter, right? Okay. So now we have for here, we're going to have here you're going to have like an ID also, whatever it is you want to call it like one, right? Then you have in chapter 2, we have an ID. So now we come here and we do hash upon. So what's happening? What's going to happen is this, right? We are doing what is called internal linking. I explained that um, in my slide that we have internal linking or external linking. So this one is going to lead us to external sites. Once we click on it, it takes us to an external site where we have whatever it is we embedded in it. You see, HTML tutorial. Now, whatever it is we did here is called internal linking. And when you link an internal site, you use stuff like an ID to name that place you want it to go to. And then whatever name you give the thing, that's what's name you are going to use the hash, and then you call this, right? So if I come here and I click on chapter 2, you see it goes to chapter 2, right? If I click on chapter 1, it's going to just take me to chapter 1, or go to chapter 2, take you to chapter 2. Is it clear?
Very clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's how to do it in HTML. Any other question? I think I heard someone raise up their hand or something, ask a question. What do you just do to multiply the paragraph? Okay, what did I do to multiply the paragraph? I did multiply by 15, lorem ipsum. Seriously, I'm going to look for the extension I'm using. It's actually a very great extension. So, and I'm going to send it to your lead, and your lead gets that across to you all for the whole Eminent stuff. It's a very great extension. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much for the amazing class. Harrison, do you have anything else so we can wrap up today's class?
None. Thank you so much, Ken.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys all for attending today's section. Don't forget to shoot your shot at the attenders on Twitter. What do you gain from class? Tagging the mentor to it, go to. And follow him on Twitter also at aqua_robotics. Thank you guys for today's section. See you next time. Don't forget your assignments. Don't forget to do your Google Analytics course. We will see. Bye. The last person on the call will pay a fine. You guys, you guys want to hear the price of the fine? Maybe we should go and sleep. Okay, 4 months girl. Please go to bed. Edozie, go to bed. Ibi Nabo. Stop streaming.